Hey, yo, let me on time, showing you the rhythm as I get record, get raw. Yeah, I need the man, coming on, very raw. It's supposed to ride, we do much more. So, yo, one more time I come. Knucklehead flow that make you act real dumb. Yo, I rip your crew like Florence. Run up in your grip like my name was Search Warrant. I make sure everything we make raw. 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 Yo, 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 yo. 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 When I step up in the place, say yo, I step correct. Got you all in check. I got that head notch that make you break your neck. I got you all in check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air, don't ever disrespect. I got you all in check. Yo, take a trip down to Mexico. Come back with that shit that might make you psycho. Go, when I step up in the place, and yo, I step correct. Got you all in check. I got that head notch that make you break your neck. I got you all in check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air and never disrespect. I got you all in check.
We know that the Bible is a fairy tale, a political fairy tale. We know that. But it doesn't change the curse, because our people believed in it. You understand what I'm saying? Your great grandmothers and grandfathers and even the slaves that was on the plantation knew that they were the Canaanites according to the pastors, the slave masters, and the pastors. So that's why why it's so important that we perform mental alchemy with the name Canaanite and what ROC Nation is all about. See, others don't really realize this. They run from this name. Why? Because there's shame attached to the name Canaanite. And the Aryans, no matter how people try to chop up history and try to say, no, it doesn't mean that, and no, the Canaanites were white. Some people even go there and they were a mixed group of people. Politically, the world knows you as the black-skinned cursed Canaanites. And so this has been part, like I said, we can look up the Hamitic curse of the Jewish rabbis. You understand? So we'll go over this briefly again, just for those who I know some of you will watch me go over this. And how this permeated through the early European mindset, and eventually led to our shame and self-hurt, self-hate under the name Canaan, which is why we must embrace that name, because it's embedded in your psychology. I keep trying to explain people that. And because of our belief in the Aryan book, it was accepted in our consciousness. So it's not Deuteronomy 28 that puts you under a curse. It's Genesis. In the beginning, I want to share this with y'all. As you can see here, This is an article from the New York Times, right? From Noah's curse to slavery's rationale. I want to read a little bit of this because I want people to understand that this has to be dealt with first. Because the Canaanites have been put under a curse and they have accepted it through their belief in the Aryan book. So a lot of people saying, "Why prove you're a Canaanite? Prove you, show me the DNA and all that." Don't listen to these fools. This is a psycho-spiritual, psychoanalytical, political understanding first off. You understand what I'm saying? You see the title here? From Noah's curse to slavery's rationale.
Now, what's interesting about what Lex is trying to say is he's trying to say that he's a Canaanite. Okay, and he's saying that the Hyksos are a mixed multitude of people. And I got two different videos, and if you hear about what he's saying the Canaanites are a mixed group of people, and the Hebrews are a mixed group of people who are the Hyksos. And he's basically saying that the Canaanites are, the black people, and the Jews or the Israelites are, Hyksos. And he's using Ezekiel 16, as you see right here, 16, 1 through 3, and mainly verse 3, he's trying to use as a proof text that the Hebrews are Amorites and Hittites. And what's funny is he's saying that he's a Canaanite, okay? But he's saying your father is an Amorite and your mother is a Hittite. So when he says that, he doesn't know that basically, by default, he's calling himself an Israelite. Because when you take a look at who the Amorites are, the definition of Strong's Concordance, perhaps mountain dwellers, a Canaanite tribe. So basically, he doesn't even know that he's calling the Israelites Canaanites. And it's funny. And then let's take a look at who the Hittites are. Descendants of Heth and Heth. And Heth is another son of Canaan, as you see. So those two are tribes of Canaanites. So when Lex calls himself a Canaanite, by default, he's calling himself an Israelite. And it's so ridiculously stupid that he's saying that the Israelites are Indo-Asian or Indo-Europeans or whatever. So by default, he's calling himself an Indo-European or Euro-Asiatic. Because as you see in Ezekiel 16, 1 through 3, the Amorites and the Hittites are Canaanites. But there's a true meaning behind what that verse is talking about. Your father is an Amorite, your mother is a Hittite. See, he doesn't understand that. You know what I mean? Basically, the Amorites, worshipped Ashtoreth. So, Solomon, basically, he went whoring after Ashtoreth. And the Hittites, I forget what god that they believed in, but Israel also chased after them too. So, Lex is off, Chris is off, and it's funny. And I'm about to let you see how he's going to make a difference between Amorite and Hittites when really they're the same Canaanite people that he's saying that he is. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Archaeology has found an onyx stone with the Paleo-Hebrew word Gad in it. Okay?
There's no such thing
Onyx,
as
of course, has a
Paleo-Hebrew,
biblical...
sis.
Hold on. They found a stone where?
In Nigeria.
And what's your point?
My point is that there's actually something that came about that has ties to what these people
Because
are
they
saying.
found a stone in Nigeria? That
No,
means
they
that the
found
people
a
are
throne.
Israelites?
They found a throne with an onyx stone that had the Paleo-Hebrew that said Gad in it.
Okay. And they found the
Okay,
Los Lunas
so
stone in
there are
Mexico.
people in
And they
West
found
Africa
Hebrew.
saying that they
Hold on, Sheikah. Before you
All
move
right,
on,
man. We're not coming
they
to
got
that.
something called the Bat Creek Stone in Tennessee with so-called Phoenician Hebrew writing on it. What is your point?
my point is that the
Does that
onyx
mean that
stone
everybody
actually
in
has.
Tennessee is a damn Israelite?
Okay, I didn't say everybody in West Africa was Israelite. You keep on saying that everybody's Canaanite. Canaanites, who you say are Africans, but tell us Hebrews are not African when they lived in the same damn place. That doesn't make sense.
How does it make sense?
That's why you changed the name to Cushite, because you know it doesn't make sense.
Okay,
How can
let's deal with
Canaanites
it.
be African?
Let's deal with it.
If they
Slow
lived in the same
down.
place Hebrews did.
Let's deal with it. All right. When the Hebrew Israelites invade Canaan, are there people already there?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So the name of the land is Canaan. Now we have to go to history. Who are the first people to inhabit Canaan as far as history goes? That region of the earth. You don't know, so let me tell you. Cush.
And
Okay, so you said it don't make sense to say Canaanite and Cushite, and why you changed the
but
name?
you're talking about a people who developed in Egypt and then went and lived in the same land and say that they're not African. That's
They're
biased
not.
as hell. That doesn't make sense. And then you always bring up Abraham
Hold
came
on.
from and you're talking about 2 or 3 people and came out of a black nation, Kemet, Eurasians. Come on, that doesn't make sense.
Hold on.
You say a lot of things that don't make sense, but
Okay.
it's okay. We're gonna
Hold
tie it
on.
all
Slow down.
together.
You can ramble, but when we slow it down,
I'm not rambling. I'm telling the truth.
yeah, okay. You said these people came out of Kemet.
Yes.
Show me that in history. Not in your Bible story.
That's what it says.
Not in your Bible story.
And lived there, and that has been their tradition. Not to abhor Egyptian because you were a stranger in their land.
Now show me that in history. The only place you're gonna show me is yes, Asiatics of all kind had lived in Kemet, yo. And they were in constant conflict, and they were nothing but the goddamn a mixed group of people. Your story about them going into Egypt, and just because you got these people going into Egypt, it ain't like the Egyptians were just like they went in there and they just became black people. They're a mixed group of people.
So if you go into an all white nation, right, today, you, your wife, let's say
that's according to your biblical narrative that it was 70 people who came into Egypt, but we know that that's a goddamn lie because it was way more Asiatics in there was an influx of Asiatics into Egypt starting around the 12th dynasty, and in the 6th dynasty they start coming in, and we have the records of even before they even ran the Hyksos out. We got Mentuhotep that had to run them out of Egypt. So there was always a influx of Asiatics coming into Egypt. It ain't this story about 70 people coming into Egypt and you thinking they just mating with the native black Egyptians is false. Because when we look at the history of Egypt,
how they come out a mixed
multitude of Asiatics
themselves.
Hold on, let me.
They didn't come out. Hold on, they didn't come out a mixed multitude. They were always a mixed multitude.
Of who?
Of Asiatics, Hittites, Amorites, Horites, Shasu, Bedouin, all these Arab mixed type people, Eurasians.
Again, it's funny how Lex is saying the Amorites, the Hittites are different people when you see that the Amorites and the Hittites, according to the Bible, are Canaanites. The same group of people that Lex is saying that he is. So Lex, in fact, is calling himself an Israelite because he's saying that the Canaanites and the Cushites are the same people, and the Amorites and the Hittites are different people, but biblically, and what we're talking about is Bible based. According to the Bible, the Hittites and the Amorites, they are Canaanites. They all come from Ham, who he says black people. So how does Canaan have different sons? How's he saying that some of Ham's sons are Arabians and the other ones are Africans? The dude is confused, and he's calling himself a master teacher. And that's what I say. These guys don't do any verification, and they make themselves look bad. Lex is looking really bad, and Chris is looking bad right along with him, and the only person that is looking good is Sheek Atiba. She's tearing them up, and they don't even know it.
Don't come in the Rock Nation with that bullshit. You will get out-scholared.
Don't cut it out. You have to out-scholar anybody. You're taking your logic and you're applying it and using it where it best suits
No, we're going with
a
consensus.
That was my whole point.
We're going with a consensus scholarly focus here. You're just making up shit.
That is not a consensus. Actually, some people say that Abraham was Aramean. So
okay, so if that's the Hebrew word,
it's
so Arameans are Amorites.
Y'all pushing it like it's fact.
So who are they then?
They're the Israelites. That's
you don't really know. It's debated. It's a debated topic.
Nah, we don't really know. But all the evidence points to Amorites. But you want to say any other time?
All the evidence leads you to conclude.
Yeah, but all the stuff.
That's your conclusion. Your conclusions are not facts.
But you will use. But you will use circumstantial.
Your conclusions are not facts, and other people have made other conclusions, and they're not facts either. It's just what the evidence is showing. But people derive different outcomes from the same evidence.
The only people that believe in this Bible are apologists.
So you hold on. So
y'all sound like Shield Squad. Y'all say everything Shield Squad sound like it. They're apologists. So why do y'all sound like apologists?
Let me get the logic of this though. So you saying that there is no way that nobody knows who they
you
are.
haven't rebuked anything. We still supposed to have that debate.
I said it. I'm off Monday. I'll be up early in the morning to go ahead and get on and beat that up early.
Look what this idiot.
You will see your name in the title early. Just so you know.
Look what this.
I'll be there.
This idiot G Checker said. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. So G Checker says the Amorites are black people. So either way, Lex loses.
I'm done with this dude.
Well, they are Hamites, according to the Bible.
No, according to the Bible.
We had a group of black Africans living in the mountains that don't cultivate the land, that eat raw meat, and don't take baths and don't bury their dead. Okay. Take that shit back to Germany, nigga.
And speaking the Indo-European language.
the Amorites, they spoke Semitic.
Asiatic languages.
Yeah, but the Hittites spoke Indo-European. So your mother was speaking an Indo-European language and your father was speaking a Semitic language.
That must be the birth of Hebrew.
Facts.
Whatever. Again, like I said, these are your conclusions. These are not facts. And there are other people who have the same evidence.
How do you say Hebrew and Bantu?
Just about to pal it on a little bit just to show that Lex, Chris, and Out the Blue don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, this right here is from the Indus Valley Civilization. And this is talking about Trajan and Dravidians and all of that good stuff. Okay, so, but the interesting part that you see right here is you had a people there called the Amari. Amari. Now, who are these Amari people, Lex? These Amari people are Amorites. And who today are claiming to be Amari? Well, they're Amorites. So, this dude right here, Lex, he doesn't know what he's talking about, neither does Chris. Now, watch this. Okay, the Amaris, let's see here, is one of the Ethiopian Semitic languages. So Lex was right when he said the Amorites spoke a Semitic language. It's all lining up. These dudes are so stupid. Our Habesha, Ethio-Semitic speaking ethnic group, traditionally inhabiting parts of northern and central highlands of Ethiopia. Ethiopia. That's who the Amorites are. That's who they are. These dudes are gone, man. They're gone. They're losing. They are losing. Look, the Amharic language is also known as the Amarina or the Amarina, Amarinia. So basically, the mother tongue of the Ethiopian people. It belongs to the Semitic branch of Afro-Asiatic family. So, see, what they messed up at, they called the Amorites Euro-Asiatic, but they're actually Afro-Asiatics. Afro-Asiatics. So, you know, the master teacher, once again, he came with some conjecture, and he loses. He loses. Just like Hebrew is Proto-Canaanite, the language that the Amorites spoke was Proto-Semitic, Proto-Cushitic. You know, so these guys, and guess what? With the Proto-Semitic speakers crossing the Sinai Peninsula into Asia Minor, a later return movement of the peoples from South Arabia have introduced the Semitic languages to Ethiopia. Based on archaeological evidence, the presence of Semitic speakers in the territory date to sometime before 500 BCE. Linguistic suggests the presence of Semitic language in Ethiopia as early as 2000 BC. Levine indicates that by the end of the millennia, the core inhabitants of Greater Ethiopia would have consisted of Swarthy Caucasoid. So that was by the end of the millennia. That's what they want you to believe, but they were Afro-Asiatics. Okay? Not Euro-Asiatics. Okay? So, the Amari people, this is letting you know who the Amari people are. They're blacks. They're blacks. And the only reason why they say Swarthy Caucasoid is because then they came back with stringy hair. And, you know, it's funny how they try to say that the Asians were Caucasoid. You know what I mean? Swarthy Caucasoids. You know, because Swarthy means dark. But back in the day, Swarthy used to mean black. So they're calling them black Edomites, basically. They're not Arabians. They're black. These people got their origins to Ethiopia, as you see right here, because they're Canaanites. Okay, so if you're gonna say that they are Eurasians or Indo-Europeans, then basically you're saying that the Canaanites are Indo-European or Eurasians. That's what you're saying, Lex. So you lose again, brother. You lose again, and Sheek Atiba smashed both you, Chris, and Out the Blue. G-Checker signing out.
Up in the place that you watch them correct. Got you all in check. I got that head nod that make you break your neck. I got you all in check. Hey, you know we come through to wreck the disco.